AMC, GameStop, crypto, Prog, it doesn't even matter what stock or what asset you name, it got ripped at the end of the trading day today. After a really rough day overall, but a lot of the focus goes on what the Federal Reserve had to say. And it did not spare AMC whatsoever. AMC got hit very hard, down in the $22 range once again. In this video, we're going to be talking about how far AMC could fall, because yes, it is possible that it continues to the downside a little bit, but more or less, we're talking about reasons why it fell and what we can expect moving forward, because the Federal Reserve had a lot to do with the overall market pullback today. So if all of this sounds like something you're interested in, let's get started. What's up, everybody? I'm Clay. I'm here to make 2022 the best year ever. I always want to say 2021 there, but I gotta say 2022. Now, if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us. Become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. And now, look, if you're brand new to investing, you don't know how or where to buy cryptocurrencies or stocks, you can use the link in the description below for Webull. It is super simple to set up your account, and a $100 deposit is going to get you at least 2 free stocks, and then any $1 crypto trade is going to get you your choice of $5 in free cryptocurrency. So make sure, go check that out. Get ready to start 2022 off right. And there's a lot of dips going on right now, so you could get in at a pretty decent buying opportunity. But AMC stock, GameStop, Prog, everything kind of got hit pretty hard at the end of the day today. Why? If you did not know, the Federal Reserve released their minutes from the December meeting, and in all honesty, there was not too much different from what they had already stated during the press conference just a couple of weeks ago. So let's talk about just briefly what they said and why the market reacted the way that it did. Or at best, why we think the market reacted the way it did. Because at the end of the day, guys, I can't speak for every single investor out there buying and selling stocks. I mean, nobody can. News articles can say whatever they want, but nobody can determine the mindset of all investors out there. So, knowing this, well, the Federal Reserve basically said that they will end they will end tapering on the bond buying program by March. Now, this is a little bit sooner than expected. They had expected it to end in June. They sped it up to fight inflation, and inflation being at 6.8% right now, with the target rate being at 2%, they want to try and bring inflation back down. So they've sped it up a little bit, and they will no longer be buying bonds. They will taper that program once March hits. So when that comes, we should expect rising interest rates. Raising the interest rates to battle inflation could help, but if it doesn't help the way they expect, we could run into a very long battle. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I believe that is the reason why we see such a great decline at the end of the trading day today. Now, going into the Fed minutes, we know that stocks may have been selling off. People may have been kind of, closing out some of their positions in order to, because they don't want to deal with that volatility. Any uncertainty always excludes the conservative investors. If there's a conservative investor out there and there's an event like an earnings report or a Fed release and so on, they may close their position, AMC included, because guys, at this point we know 100% of the investors in AMC are not apes. So they may have been closing their positions out there because they did not want to deal with the uncertainty and the volatility. So what did we get? Where does this uncertainty come from? The Federal Reserve stated that, originally, the inflation was being caused by the supply chain bottleneck. Less supplies equal higher prices and therefore higher inflation because there are less supplies. Now, they're stating in their minutes, they discussed that this might not be the only thing causing rising prices. What else did we experience over the last year or so? A lot of money being injected into the economy. I believe there's 36% more money in the economy now than there has ever been in history, and all of it was injected in the last year or so. Now, whether or not you guys can debate this all day long if you want, whether that was a good idea, whether it was necessary, and so on. It doesn't matter. We are seeing the ramifications of that right now. And AMC's stock price is just evidence of the ramifications of this. We've got a potential battle, a long-term battle that's going to be forming against inflation. And if that's the case, then the reaction that the market had today to the Federal Reserve minutes was not just an overreaction or a knee-jerk reaction. If we've got inflation under control, if this does not turn into a long battle, then what we saw today was, in my opinion, an overreaction. So we have to see how this plays out. Will we continue to battle inflation? Will it be under control here pretty soon? And so on. That is the question. That is the uncertainty. That is the fear on investors' minds that drove the price of AMC, that drove the price of GME, that drove the price of Prog and Shiba and all of the cryptocurrencies down today. It's because investors are flocking out of riskier assets and into safer assets. Clearly, if interest rates are rising, people are going to be taking their money out of risk-on assets and putting them in risk-off assets where they can gain, a pretty decent return without the risk being there. So that is one of the reasons AMC stock fell today. However, all right, guys, I know a lot of people want to know how far it can fall. We do have a lot of support where we're at right now in the $22 to $22.50 range. If that does not hold up, we will be retesting that $20 range that we tested just a couple of weeks ago and the level of resistance that it was before we ever broke up in May. So there is a lot of riding on that $20 level. And you guys know by now, you're very familiar with the AMC stock charts. I know you guys know the levels of support and resistance, but below that, if for some reason this fear continues on and we go out there and we buy the stock, yes, we get some bounces, but if the overwhelming, sentiment in the market is that we're going towards a risk-off scenario, we may experience $17 as a level of support and $14.50 as a level of support. And I just want to be very clear. No matter what the price is at, if it does hit 20, if it does hit 17, if it does hit 14, that does not in any way signal that the short squeeze is off. The short squeeze is only off when the shorts have covered their shares. They have not done that. It offers you a buying opportunity. Now, it's very funny to me, and I'm going to briefly summarize this here, but in June, when the stock price was running up, everybody would have loved to have had a second chance to get AMC at the prices we are currently trading at. So it is very ironic that now that we're trading at these prices and potentially testing 20 and 17 and 14 and so on, with the short squeeze numbers being exactly the same as they were back then, we have that second chance opportunity. But the sentiment is now, oh, well, I was all talk and no walk because I would have loved those prices, but now I hate these prices. Very, very just confusing, the logic of people. We have a second chance because the short squeeze numbers are just the same as they were. AMC is doing better now, fundamentally, than it has ever done since this whole short squeeze movement began. And we are experiencing prices now to set ourselves up for huge gains in the future. Please keep that in mind if this inflation battle goes on, because the short squeeze is absolutely not being affected by it. If that button let me know. Forget about the button right now. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, right? Are you buying on this opportunity, or are you kind of waiting to see what's happening right now? Do you consider this a second chance? Now, if that button's still red, make sure to click it, subscribe to the channel, join us, become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. ClayBro883 on Twitter and Instagram. Webull, Binance, Gemini in the description below. And until the next time, hope that each and every one of you have an awesome day.